I remember me being in my room in my underwear and me singing the song. That's what I remember when I actually came out with the song. But we also came out with it here on the during the TV studio.
It was insane because we were in the studio. It was like lockdown. We barely, we were like, this is the only way you could have church. Apostle was speaking to the remnant. And he was saying, arise and shine. That verse from Isaiah, arise and shine.
El remanente está siendo revelado.
The remnant is being revealed.
Usted remanente.
You are the remnant.
Levántate y resplandece.
Then arise and
Porque ha
shine.
venido tu luz.
For thy light is come.
Jonathan started to play, and James turns around, he tells him, major. So Jonathan was like, okay. He goes, I hear this. And he set it on the mic. He goes, you could sing something like, arise and shine. And then Prophet Melina turned around, she's like, for the Lord hath risen up. And I like mumbled something out.
Y la gloria de Jehová
And the glory of
ha
the Lord
nacido sobre ti.
is risen upon thee.
Arise.
For the glory of it risen upon you.
Arise.
So we just kept repeating it, and the apostle was like, yeah, that was it. But it was cool because it was so out of left field, and it was from God, because it's not a type of sound that we usually use in that type of setting. So, as BG, supernatural BGVs, James and I were, because Prophet Melina was leading, James and I were like, okay, well, so James was like, all right, I have something. So I was saying, as the dark is getting dark now.
His light is shining brighter, revealing sons and daughters, and awakening his church.
So that happened, and I already felt like this. I felt like there needed to be like an easier anthem for the people to declare, because that does something in the atmosphere when the people are able to corporately say something together. But I didn't know what to say. I was like, man, those lyrics are fire. What am I supposed to say, But so then all of a sudden the song kept on going, and Dad was just like feeling that the presence of God was there. Forget it. It was like a revival there. And I remember he looks at me and he goes, go. And I was like, no, I have nothing. And he goes, yes, go. And I was like, I have nothing to say. So I was like, and the former, and the latter, and the former, and the latter, and the former. That's all I know. So I needed a minute to think. And I was like, oh God. So then that's when he goes, yeah, because the remnant, your faith is gonna get tested. I think he said something like along those lines. And that's when I was like, oh, this is the response to what is being declared. So I was like, we the remnant will not be shaken. We the remnant will not be shaken. We the remnant standing firm.
We the remnant, 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 we're standing firm.
The part that came out while we were flowing that day, there was a couple parts that came out, but so it's always chorus and bridges, and then they gave me the song. They're like, okay, now you gotta write verses for it and like make it make sense. So I was like, all right, bet. Let's see what can happen. And I ended up coming. I was praying. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning. I was reading the Bible verses that Apostle gave me, and I just jumped on my piano real quick. Book of John, where he says that he said he was gonna tabernacle among us. He said he was gonna, then the word became flesh, and then that flesh became the light of men, and it dwelled among men, right? And they knew it not. That word is tabernacle. Literally, he made himself the body, into a body which would end up being our temple, right? So it has nothing. So, and then he said that he was gonna fill that temple with his glory. So I'm like, yeah, I was like, let's do it. So as soon as I started like figuring that out, that was my discovery moment. I'm like, I'm gonna write this verse and it's gonna be amazing. So then as soon as I did that, I think in like 30 minutes, after having waited 2 full weeks, and Jenny going after me, like, James, you need to finish the song. I was like, I'm praying. I promise I'm praying. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It was like the last day before I had to actually turn in something, right? That I just got all of it. In like 20 minutes, I got verse, pre-chorus, verse 2, pre-chorus 2. And I was like, this is it. And I got the whole structure of the song. Like in 1 second, I had it in my head. From beginning to end, I know here's gonna be an intro, here's gonna be the verse, it's gonna go up here, it's gonna go down here. I had everything. It was crazy, but I discovered it. And I was like, thank you, Holy Spirit. This is raw. So now that's my pursuit. I'm always trying to do that and kind of like patiently wait for that to happen and not try to manufacture it. Because just like I learned, when you try to manufacture it doesn't always work out the best, but when you can discover something and experience it, you have a much more, you can be much more assured that the person that is gonna hear it afterwards will also have that same experience. And it's the same thing that happened, because as soon as I started to Pastora Melina, she's like, she didn't even hear it. She heard the first 3 seconds of it. She's like, I love it. I'm like, you haven't even heard the whole thing. She's like, I don't care, I love it. I'm like, okay.
For me, Arise and Shine is my anthem, because it's like, because it creates hope, because it's the opposite of, what the second coming was. It was like, oh my God, it's dread. And it's not dread. We are actually about to live one of the most glorious times of the church. So for me, that's why Arise and Shine is the song that it is.